I'm very proud of this next fellow. He's quite brilliant, Christopher P. Gazeent. He has a book out of a collection of his work, which is extraordinary. I do suggest you check it out. Listen to this man, he's extraordinary. Christopher, please.
All right.
Thank you, Hayden. I'm a mustachioed pistachio. I'm going to be reading a little bit from my book, which came out last year. It's called Life's Jejune Halls, or Thoughts on the Shuttering of the Generational Chassis. I'm going to read some poems that I haven't read in a while. For the last 8 some odd years, I've been reading my new poetry as I write it, so if you've been hanging around me, you've probably heard these at some point in the distant past. This is from a while ago. This is called More, A Life on the Run. Mother knows best, and she'll put me to sleep forever. The boy who liked to play with the light from the swinging door as a child, waiting while going through the motions, spattering paint across the canvas, always in flux. Under the bed was the only place they couldn't find him, those dark, yet innocent beasts of yore. Now I'm buried in October snow. I've volunteered sensitive information, loquacious in my punctured manner of speech. It's unclear who has said what, but I know that I want more. I'm like an old man standing before his grave, remembering all the appointments he never kept and the visions that he could never be sure were real. Normal conversation useless, I ration my spoils, divide profundity into little portions for the years. Forgotten lines leave their mark, but I can recall that I wanted, that I still want more. A keepsake from half-consciousness, the sadistic music telling me that I'm closing in on death. More, a final verdict, more. The rivalry between the two sides of the county line, clashes in battle, silver swords and shields glistening beneath the sun, and it's clear who will be the victor, the sad, slow waterfall of the invisible temptress. There is no room for compromise. I'm a mouse scrabbling between the walls and floorboards, weaving yarn in and out of a hungry spool, and I feel like I'm king of the ants and bees and hornets. A swift breeze releases all responsibility till it comes rolling back with a tumbleweed down the deserted main drag of the city of ragamuffin renegades. The time has come to return the children to the womb, all mouthing the shape of one word that no longer makes any sound. More. Thank you. A couple of poems that ran chronologically to one another. Anonymous Beauty. All boys must leave home. The world is full of abandoned nests where once bright bird song is reduced to the faint whistling of the wind. Ah, age be damned, ye forlorn holder of dreams. Blood squirts out of my quill as I attempt to chronicle the underside of the beast who describes with his breath all the various forms we humans may take. The walls are covered with reports of missing persons, anonymous beauties going incognito past the brick walls lining the alleyways in the labyrinths of every city and town. They wear masks, as if attending some gothic ball, sanguinary personas lurking past midnight, gathered under cover of darkness. To be of an age is to truly live. I never tried to become the black cat, the nocturnal butterfly. I merely passed through my days in tune with the mystics, and one day found myself sitting on the moon as it rose, angling for stars with a wooden rod. Now I walk past the dim Brooklyn warehouses, winter coat held tight to protect from wind tunnels, on my way to who knows where. All that is certain is that daylight tells the most heinous fibs and cannot be trusted. if we are to evolve past the inchoate dilettantes as nature has lent her hand to create us. Thank you. And this poem came next in the order. Reflections on Calvary's Mirror. Take a hammer to this mirror and smash the glass of wild delusion. Cling to the earth and submit to mother gravity which crushes us all, bricks and cement and flesh all crumbled into amorphous rubble. Debris floating down the rivers, flush and overflowing with still grey waters, to reach all corners of the weary and trembling world. Buildings collapse within every mind when it reaches fruition. But there is the blossoming of flowers beautiful and true, growing up between cracks in the pavement. The wildest of tales can be told of spy toys and reconnaissance, fingerprint databases, and secret codes for discreet communication. Who are we not to believe it? A rendezvous with the darkest depths is in order, amid carnival tents and horse stables, with the stranger that haunts our dreams. The possibility of love is the ultimate aeroplane for the inimitable reaches of emotion that can only appear from the shadowy abyss when the stars are so fortuitously aligned that even these apocalyptic visions cannot hold a man down under the water until he drowns out of lack of air, until everything history has put forth is destroyed. Thank you. Skipping forward. Since Christopher Wheeling was the feature tonight, here's a poem for him. The Photographer, for Christopher Wheeling. Sometimes it is only in congregation that we can find true solitude. Somewhere within the sound of a falsetto whimper, you walk the fine line between free spirit and chaos. Sultry eyes hide behind lenses that capture the fleeting stories of murders upon murders of crows, black as the afternoon night of the Arctic Circle. Where do you belong in this demented carnival? Cultures and subcultures proliferate upon the crust of the earth, while you remain in the subterranean darkroom, processing negatives with toxic chemicals. Someday you will be able to tell the story of the world's demise with stunning images to force tears out of ducts that have for centuries remained dry as dying roses. But for now, the hordes swarm busily around you, not to know how insignificant they really are. How am I doing on time?
Keep going. About 5 more minutes.
Okay. What to read? I'm gonna go back in time. Lithograph. From the brick and mortar, the lime and stone, a million ideas flew through the crowded elevator shaft of time, hitting each singular mind like a pebble skipped across a pond, each hungry for inspiration, but unable to capture the sand as it flowed through their fingers. They were all in the wrong place at the wrong time. I am plugged into the rhythm, tapped into the phone line, and the printing press is in full operation, ink flowing forth and transferring to the page where the world may read its text. But wait, the little indigene cried. What if we lose sight of the ineffable wisdom instilled in the blood pumping through our veins? However, the rushing river of data was too loud for anyone to hear. This study is an inherent paradox, so I shall abdicate creativity's throne and return to the serfdom of the static screen, an unwilling Luddite among unknowing slaves. Moving forward. The new biblioclasm, or Jupiter rising. A would-be literato stopped in my tracks by a peal of thunder so powerful as to silence the loudest songbird. The music of the spheres establishes a tonal center for the melodic orbit of the fifth satellite, the sweetest imperfection sitting in the sky, broadcasting on a subtle wavelength the message that I will survive to see another day. I've got my commonplace book with my cache of poetry, ammunition enough to depart from the neurotypical and look back with no disappointment or regret. Fire burned through sheets of papyrus in Alexandria, and now my bookshelf, full of osmoticary edition, represents tinder to be lit by the match or candle provided by this shiftless lifestyle, in which I'm an artistic loner, completely and totally on my own, charged with the mission of creating an empty slate to bear the words of a new, youthful generation. A few more? One? Can I do a short one and then? Okay. Now to the new poetry. These are my two newest poems from Sunday. This poem references my continuing obsession with theory-anthropy. Joyride. The war is over without a victor. Stuck in the blind spot of a semi-permanent, as I joyride in pursuit of mechanical prey, instinct is my only responsibility. Vocation not a matter of passion, but life still a puzzle without any clues. I am very invincible, with fur nor scales to cover my flesh. Only 2 tons of metal scaffolding that are fragile as talc when traveling at 70 miles an hour. I recently started working at a library, and my boss, Marge, is a pretty cool woman. She's very honest with me. She told me about her son, or one of her sons, who passed away when he was 27. He was a heroin addict. This is sort of about her. This is called The Collapsing Library. Could knowledge really triumph over ignorance? The last librarian scurries around her domain, shelving books to atone for her first scion, lost at 27 years to suburban venom, cut off from his tree with the hacksaw of sorrow. She polishes materials to reach out to xenoblots, unaware of the grammatical mistakes slithering through the foreign lexicon. The community room is empty, save for 2 plants that no longer cry out for water, and the old building creaks and cracks as it threatens to collapse into the brook. I stand in the old farm road and watch. Yes, this is the end. No longer will patrons peruse the books from whose time-worn yellow pages the scent of ancient intellect wafts. Never again will researchers examine documents to put together biographies of men who wore tweed jackets and smoked Cuban cigars. Now information exists only in the minds of lonely experts who wander mountains and plains and fields, doing all they can to salvage a world that is falling apart at its seams, and whose tape has been erased by the grand magnet that is kept in the custody of a wayward god. Thank you.